there I was in Japan, and my father-in-law just walks into this bookstore and says, "Oh, you're still here?" He didn't understand. I had to stay, you know. "Oh, you can come back to our house. It's okay. I don't want you on the road. I don't want you just sitting here. It's fine. Come," he said. And as you know, I'm trying to get this job in Korea as an English teacher. I'm trying to go to the Kuku Techuzuki, and it's the Kokujinokon or whatever, something crazy Japanese translation. I can't speak Japanese that well. And so I get to his house, and then we break out the Japanese dictionary. And I try to call Toshie, and actually the daughter, Junko, won't let me call Toshie because she thinks that I'm abusing the telephone. And so she goes crazy with that. And then I get pulled into the other room. They're saying that um, you Junko is like that. You just don't use the phone. You know, I'll call Toshie for you. And so he calls Toshie for me, and I talk to Toshie. And Toshie is not much help at all. So there I am, stuck in Japan. And he doesn't understand that he has to drive me to pick up this um, blue paper at the Techuzuki, at this DHL delivery from Korea in a town 21 miles away before tomorrow, so that I can be able to go back to Korea and get my job. And I'm not allowed to use the telephone, and I'm not allowed to. And Toshie did not want to help, and Junko did not want to be cooperative. So evil has me in a stranglehold, and they're really hoping that I'm going to fail on this one. I'll let you guess. What's the next miracle? So Toshie finally gets it, and she calls back. And then when she calls back, I answer the telephone. That's the miracle. Because if I didn't answer the telephone, she would not be able to talk, because she and her father didn't get it off at all, and he hung up on her. And she didn't. And so that she called back an hour and a half later. And actually, the telephone was removed from the room that I was staying in, and so I was sitting on the couch in the living room, and Junko had just gone to the bathroom. So you have to understand, this was a miracle. And so I explained to my wife that my father had to drive the car, even though he can't drive, 21 miles to the DHL place, 21 miles away, the next morning. Otherwise, we are not getting to Korea ever. And I'm stuck forever as a homeless person in Japan. Toshie finally gets it. She explained it to her father. He says, "There's no way I can drive. I mean, I really can't do this. It's really hard." And so Toshie says to him, "Well, then you have to recognize that you have to take care of my husband." And "Oh no, I'm not going to take care of him. No, 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 I'll go." So something hits him over the head, and you can just see it in his eyes. He moves from being, I don't know what she said, but something moves from being really negative to being really positive. And you'll see how incredible it is, because considering his really grumpy attitude, just like Toshie, to being really elated in such a short period of time. I have no idea what she said, but she said something. And so the next thing that happens is, so I go to bed early, and I pack, and I get up early, quickly I make breakfast for everybody. We have rice and miso soup and a little bit of vegetable and stuff. We all have some green tea, and then he has this white car that's a lot like a Maxima, called the Crown in Korea and Japan. They have the same kind of car, except for they name it differently. And he says, "Actually, I can drive. I just didn't want to because it's so expensive." Just like Toshie. Just like Toshie. I mean, this is the father of my wife. So yeah, just like Toshie. And I remember that just like Toshie, I got to treat Toshie in a certain way to get things done. So I got to treat this guy in a certain way to get things done. So I'm really, really, treating him very well, and he drives me. And we finally find it, because it was. And the next miracle is, nobody knows where this is, and so I call And I get the person in Japan one more time, and I hand the phone to my father, and he's able to listen to what they say and get there. So we get there. And so then the paper didn't come yet. We get there and the paper didn't come yet. And my plane flight is leaving in an hour. It was not funny at the time, but can you see why I have Betty Davis eyes and I smile like Marlon Brando with my crooked smile? I've been through a lot. Are you getting this? Anyway, so he finally they finally come at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It finally arrives, and the last flight to Korea leaves at 5 o'clock. So it's about a 2-hour ride to the airport. So we don't have time to take the train. He says we're taking the train anyway because there's no way I'm driving to the airport. But he comes with me and we both take the train together and we get to the airport, the Fukuoka airport. As we get there, all the lights turn off. There is absolutely not a light on in the entire terminal. We're in the door, and then the lights all go off. I say, Heavenly Father, there must be a way. And so I start. So he says, the place is closed. I guess we just have to go home now. I said, no. There has to be a way to get me to Korea. There has to be a way. And so I asked for customer service. Where can I get a refund for my plane ticket to schedule another one? And they said, oh, no one could speak English. No one could speak English. And so I said, oh, here we go again. So in Japan, nobody speaks English. No one speaks English. The next miracle that happens is all the lights come back on again. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Who turns the lights on and off like this? But anyway, someone turns the lights on, and one person walks out from the back office and comes to the front desk and answers the telephone. And she speaks English. That is a miracle. And after she's done with her phone call, I explained to her my situation, and she said, oh, I'll drive you in my personal car to a terminal nearby, and there's one more flight to Korea that's leaving in 15 minutes. I'll take you there. And so the good news is I could get there, but the bad news is they wouldn't accept my ticket for a refund. So I had no money and no way to get there. So on the next one we'll continue the story.